normally go together. I love it. And I've been rocking with him. You can follow him on SoundCloud. You guys can go check out his SoundCloud there. So that was pretty much, how that night ended up wrapping up. We jammed out there. Rest of the week was pretty chill. Did end up stepping out with the fellas on Friday night. I guess Papa had a little stump in his feet this week. We had been saying we wanted to try different parties, different themed parties in different sides of towns. So I found this party on Eventbrite. Now the party said that it was going to be up-tempo hip-hop anthems. I said, okay, that sounds kind of dope. Up-tempo hip-hop anthems. I'm like, so that should be rocking. I'm like, it's in Echo Park, which is not normally where we hang out. So I said, okay, cool. So this is going to be a different type of people. Now, different it was. Now, I love people with different varieties and nationalities and everything, but that was the issue. It really wasn't no nationalities. It was all white, and the DJ was he was playing stuff that's on the radio right now. Like, I don't know. It wasn't exactly what I envisioned, and it was shoulder to shoulder packed. Not necessarily because it was a lot of people there, but the space was small as well. And then we were there all of about maybe 4.2 minutes, and we hit it. So we shot over to West Hollywood, and we stepped through a nightclub there called Penthouse Nightclub, and did our 1-2 step and dipped on off, and then that's how our night pretty much ended. So that led us up to Sunday, and Sunday is, y'all know, I love me a Sunday. Y'all. My brothers, we always connect, almost always on Sundays. And this week was no different. We did not meet up last week because we had all that Saturday, the Chicago versus everybody thing, We wore ourselves out on Saturday, so we didn't hang out on Sunday. So this week was like our, would have been our second week. We all met up at Sal's at 1:30. Everybody looked diggity dope. We did wait 45 minutes, but if you go to Sal's, you must be outside. You just got to. We waited about 45 minutes. The food was amazing. Everybody showed up. It was so good. And so we were having so much fun. We said, listen, what you doing after this? No, we had all decided we were going to, keep the day going. And so we all got in our cars. But, y'all know we took a few pictures. Of course, we're not going to let that moment pass. Of course, you can catch those on my Instagram over at Smith Worldwide. And you'll be seeing more of us, too. Just keep an eye out. But we took a few pictures, and then we shot over to one of the popular nightclubs or day clubs, actually. It's a restaurant, The Chapel, connected to the Abbey, just for a walkthrough. It was packed, crowded, Caucasian, and we left. And so we did that, and then just basically walked down the street until we finally made it to this smaller bar. It's a nightclub bar. But here's the thing. Oh my gosh, this is such a fat confession that I'm about to make. Now, I done told y'all we went to brunch earlier, but I purposely did not fill up on my brunch because I wanted to eat later. There's this place that for years I've only known it as a nightclub. One day I was walking down the street, minding my own business, and I saw a sign outside that said $5 happy hour. Food? I said, wait. Let me go investigate what this is about. They had about 9 items on that thing that was $5. First of all, I didn't even, who even gave y'all regulations to sell food and when it just starts? But anyways, I tried the wings, y'all. I stepped out and tried the wings. Now, I don't usually do hot stuff. That ain't my thing. But I did. No, actually, I didn't. I actually ordered barbecue, but they ended up bringing out buffalo. So you know me, I do want to send these back, but let me just say these too. And they ended up letting us keep those too, but they were so good, y'all. They were so good that I plan that in my day, on our brunch day. I don't care who go, who follow. I will follow them wherever they may go. I'm going to get those wings. I told my brother yesterday, I said, not me leaving the hospital, look, whole tank, whole gown on, hopping up trying to get them wings. That's something I would possibly try to arrange. But yes, got those wings and enjoyed a couple of $5 drinks there while kicking it with the guys. Oh, this day just sounds so long, and it actually was. But point being, we did a lot of daytime dancing, and I sweated out my edges. And I had a beautiful day. So listen, I had a great week. I hope you guys did too. And I'm ready to get into the show, y'all. I got some things we're going to talk about. It's a couple of headlines I've seen, and we're going to start off with this one right here. So I stumbled across this story that I had to stop and get into these details with. It was set in Johannesburg. I love South Africa. So when I saw Johannesburg, that caught my eye. It was on MSN News. So these 3 Johannesburg, South Africa, funeral service companies are suing this prophet, Alf Lukau, because they're saying that he brought reputational damage to them. Because this prophet pulled a hoax that he resurrected this person from the dead. He rented a coffin from one of the companies. Then he put some stickers from another company on the side of the private vehicles he rented from another company. So he just didn't care about nothing. He used all of these perpetrating moments in order to get him across the border so that he could take this body to the rural areas where he has this conference going on or what have you, so that he could resurrect this body of this boy he's named Elliot. Now, the story about Elliot is that on Friday, Elliot allegedly died. And so here's the thing. Here's where the prophet went wrong at. Because when you gonna try to hoodwink somebody, when you trying to be slick, you need to be able to research all the laws, all the details, all that. They ended up doing some investigation and said that, like, the border that he crossed, in order for you to cross that border, it's mandatory that the body has to already have been embalmed. So there would be no way that a resurrection could happen on the rural side of town. I mean, it's just, you already have all the blood sucked out and there's embalming fluid and you're literally done. So that was one thing he didn't investigate. Another thing he didn't investigate, in South African culture, when you are shipping a body to the point where he had the body, the eyes are always closed and the mouth is always closed. They shipping the body with the mouth open and the eyes open. I guess I don't know. I'm like, so he made some errors and now they're investigating down. And, bruh, he might be in some trouble. Like, for instance, he ended up putting up a video after the day after, because this is what happened. Okay, so on Friday, the old boy was supposedly had died. And I think it was that same day or the next day that they resurrected him. But they did a whole day of selling of oils and, what did they say? Like spiritual salts, prophetic salt. Holy oil and prophetic salt that they were selling for high dollars. because I'm presuming that the man said that in his message that this is what he used to help resurrect. Oh boy. So selling galore for the whole weekend, selling down, and people start investigating. He gonna even put up a video, this to gag you, the next day, the man's first meal, the one who got raised from the dead, gonna put up a video talking about this the man's first meal. They got like praise, like and worship going behind them, and everybody in this, you know what? Now I ain't gonna say everybody, because everybody ain't always a part of the trick. But y'all know the man sitting here eating his first meal, bruh. You know you ate yesterday, the day before that. You ain't never been dead. You know what you doing. Y'all all in on this together. Like, yo, I ain't into that. And we just saw a similar case in Hollywood where you're trying to cause trickery by crime or say, like, you're dealing with insurance claims now. You're dealing with, like they said, these 3 companies that you misrepresented now. And you know, the thing that bothers me the most, this is the part that bothers me the most. People already have, especially millennials, already have a bad relationship with church and even God, and spirituality is so confusing and so conflicted now. And when stories like this bounce into the news, you know what I mean? Mainstream news at that. You just shine a light on God and on the church in such a ugly way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just disgusting to me. So, but anyways, that story was very interesting. So a little comedic twist ended up taking on. The darn story ended up going viral. And why people start doing the resurrection challenge. And so you got little memes online of people like raising themselves up out of a plastic dumpster looking like they got resurrected, and somebody coming up out of some bath water. I mean, just foolishness. I mean, it's comical, but again, it shines a light on God in a way that I don't think that was the planned intention. You know, just we gotta do better. We gotta do better with who we trust our hearts with and who we yield our spirits and our ears to. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to be tricked and caught up in emotion, you know, and people can be easily led by emotion if they're not led by stronger things. And so it's easy to get caught up. And so you just gotta be careful. But this headline took me back. I thought it was quite interesting. But come on, y'all, let's get into our next thing. Oh my gosh, I remember when this dope song came out in 1994. They were so dope, Immature. Like, they had these super dope styles, these super dope baggy jeans. Old boy had the old chop to the side. I'm like, these kids is some originals. They was like who I felt like I wanted to be at that time. And so when they came out with this song, I instantly connected to it. And that song is I Don't Mind. Let's listen. To call in during the week. So there's a number, 866-87-SMITH, 866-877-6484, where you can call in and leave me a question, ask some sort of advice or opinion about what I may think about a pop culture story or whatever y'all want me to talk about, and we answer it live on the air. It's so fun. So I'm getting ready to play my newest voicemail, and I'm about to get into this thing. Let's go, y'all.
Hi, Smith. First of all, congratulations. The series is just amazing. So I'm loving it.
Thank you.
I have a question, and my question is regarding ghosting someone. You are always talking about, personal development. And so sometimes when you are in the process of personal development, you have to cut some people off. As Steve Harvey says, that his dad says, everyone who comes with you can't go with you. So I'd like to know what you think are appropriate measures and steps for ghosting someone. Thanks, and have a great day.
So this caller, who has such a beautiful, really jolly voice, it made me feel warm. This caller wanted to know, says that she listens to me across my platforms and says that a lot of times I have a message about, inspirational and about growth and different things of that nature. And how do I feel about ghosting someone due to the fact that you want to grow, or you're growing, or you've outgrown them? That's what I heard the question as being. Ghosting, let's talk about that. Ghosting is when you had some sort of relationship with somebody. Y'all had a covenant agreement, an eyeball agreement, a handshake agreement, a trust agreement. There's some covenant exchange there. And then suddenly, like a ghost, it disappears and evaporates. And one of the parties is no longer reachable, textable, Facebookable, tweetable, kickable, LinkedInable. Don't hit me, don't call me, don't holler, don't beat me, don't go on my MySpace page, leave me alone. And whether that ended on I'm not saying it could have ended, something bad could have happened and then this happens, or it could have just been a night at skating and then this happens. But that's what ghosting is. And so our caller is asking my opinion on ghosting. I hate it. I hate it because I think it's a disrespect to the covenant that you once had, like just a couple of minutes ago you had. Now, had you been detangling and dismantling from that covenant over time? Of course you have, because nobody arrives at this point and then it's just bow. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's that person's responsibility to say back then, hey, I don't know what's happening, but I see a disconnect. Or if you know what that disconnect is and you flat out saying, I'm growing, and where I have been hanging ain't growing at the rate I want to, then you should be making those announcements. Hey, y'all, I'm going to catch y'all. I'll meet y'all up for brunch. I probably won't be going out as much. I won't see y'all out as much. Making that notification, like the ghost moment, is such a dagger. It feels, especially being on the other end of it, because here's the thing. I've been on both ends of it, and this is why I once ghosted a friend, a very close friend, because, to be honest with you, I am a hugely forgiving person, and at this point, I was tired. It was a minor infraction, but I was so tired of it happening, and I knew that I didn't really want to not be friends, but I wanted to make a statement that I was tired. But then when I didn't feel like, I just didn't know, I thought like I couldn't make a statement without with still giving conversation. So I had to stay away because I knew I would just be forgiving and then it would happen again. And then I'll find myself hurt again, by it. And so I felt like the best way to protect myself so I didn't give in and be forgiving again like I always felt like I had been was to stay away. And that was I hate that I felt so immature. I felt so... the relationship had such a bond, and whether you have that strong of a bond or not, a relationship is an agreement. And if you sign up for that agreement non-verbally, you're standing up in that relationship. I think you got to close that thing out right. And I didn't give that opportunity, and that was unfair. And so I don't advocate for the ghosting, especially for the namesake of I'm growing. Because if you're growing in such a bomb way, shouldn't maturity lead you to where you can have an adult conversation and say, I'm not going to be around as much? You don't owe nobody nothing. So to just bounce, it's like you're not even providing a teachable moment where you, the grower, is not the growing is not becoming the grower. If there's somebody who's a little bit down, now I do know everybody ain't ready to grow when you ready, and I know that, and I get that. But if there's by any chance you can say to somebody, hey, this is the route I'm on, I'm feeling I can't do some of the same things. You get what I'm saying? And you offer them a hand up, I will feel like that will be more the position as opposed to becoming Casper. The ghost, I don't think that's the route. So, no, that's my opinion about ghosting. I believe conflict can be healthy. I was taught that in college. I really believe that in my heart. And so I'm not afraid of that eyeball to eyeball over tea or ice cream, because you gonna be settled down. Now that's going to happen, but I don't mind that adult conversation to say, this is how I felt when this happened. How did you feel when I did that? Okay, can we move forward? Can we not? It was cool while we had it. Let's dib dab and let's rock out, and God bless you. I'm more on that as I get older and older. So I kind of try to encourage others to do the same. So thanks for trusting me. I hope everything works out with that. Let me know what you decide. So real quick, I was listening to, or actually watching rather, the Red Table Talk interview where Jada Pinkett interviewed Jordan Woods. Not going to talk about all that. You can go over there to the Red Table Talk on Facebook. Check it out. It was a great interview. I believe Jordan. But moving on, Jada said something pretty profound. It was simple, but it was profound to me. And this is what she had to say about telling the truth.
I've had to learn a lot about the power of telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Even in this stage of my life, because truths get deeper and deeper, okay? You'll learn that as you go.
We love to think
that we're also super honest and that it's easy to tell the truth. But specifically when I was your age, I had no idea how to tell the truth.
I thought about that thing, the power of telling the truth. I don't know why people, it's such a weighty experience carrying and living out a lie. Because every lie, you have to have at least 10 more lies to fortify the one lie. Then you got to keep up with all 11 parts of that one lie. I think that there is such a power in telling the truth. Here's the thing where I think people get fearful about telling the truth. I think people, they place their trust in the wrong places. They given trust in places too soon. They given trust in places that failed them. They given trust in places that abandoned them and left them asking, why did they do that to themselves again? But I also believe that there is power in finding places and people that you can have honest, truthful moments with, people who will not judge you, people who will fortify you, people who will affirm you. I'm just kind of like, we're living in a world where, in all honesty, especially with the rise of social media, which I adore social media, but with the rise of social media, it's all about the appearance thereof. I read a meme once and I posted it a couple of times. It said, to be and not to seem. That's my desire. I mean, of course, I also post my favorite pictures of the 10 that I took too. I'm not saying that we shouldn't highlight ourselves in the best foot forward. Ever, never, ever would I ever say that. I believe that all things that we create are a form of art. However, what I am saying is, the image that you know you are not, or even if it's an aspiration, like, it's so much work, the pretend game. Like, being an actor that's not being paid, but you're only being paid in applause by the public via social media, that has to be a job that I don't know who would sign up for that. I don't. But I definitely wanted to talk about that. When I saw her say that, I just was like, wow, that is a powerful statement, like the power of telling the truth. Speaking of telling the truth, Mr. Bernie Sanders, Mr. President, I'm running for president, had a couple of things to say about his truth concerning reparations. So I found this on the Neighborhood Talk. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk, keeping us in the loop. Kyle Anthony is doing his thing over there, giving me all the tea. But I found this video over on the Neighborhood Talk, and let's get into Charlemagne asking Bernie Sanders what his thoughts are regarding reparations, and then we'll talk. Here we go.
Kind of dodging the reparations question. Senator Harris and Senator Warren have both kind of spoken out and said that they agree with some form of reparations.
I'm not dodging the question. The question is, what do we mean by reparations?
Well, I think they mean some type of economic empowerment.
Charlemagne and Bernie Sanders,
slaves.
But what does that mean, economic empowerment? I just talked about the fact that I would do my best to change the banking system to make sure that we end racism, that we pay attention to distressed communities.
What about straight cash payouts?
No.
How much you want, Charlemagne? Agree with that? Why don't you agree with that?
Well, first of all, you mean just a check to every African American?
Yes.
Well, and there's a check to every Native American who were nearly wiped out when the settlers first came here. I think the way we go forward is to build America together. There are distressed communities, white communities. There are distressed Latino communities. What you have is a government owned and controlled by big money interest who worries about Wall Street and the drug companies. We're going to change that. And we're going to pay attention to the needs of working families and low-income families.
Like this week, you've been kind of dodging the... This government has also systemically oppressed us in a way that they haven't oppressed other communities. Through slavery, through segregation, now mass incarceration.
Listen to this answer.
And I think it should be something done specifically for African Americans.
Well, and all of those issues, all right, we are going to deal with mass incarceration. I think at the end of the day, if we end the discrimination that exists in financial services, in healthcare, in education, if we guarantee healthcare to all people, if we, and we're working on a particular program, make sure that every person in this country has a job, because there's enough work to be done dealing with climate change, dealing with our crumbling infrastructure, I would suggest to you that not only the African American community, but every community will be a hell of a lot better off than they are today.
Do you think Democrats really believe in reparation?
Goodbye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So, listen, basically what that whole discussion was about, for those of you who may not know, reparations are the payback, the reward for a nation of people who have been done wrong by another nation of people, most likely due to loss of life or due to free work. So let's talk. Who has received reparations payments and the U.S. has been involved? The American Indians, the whole reservation situation, how they have their own law system set up, how they are able to do their thing. They've gotten rewarded monies and they get monthly checks, based on that, due to the wrong that was done to them by this country being uprooted from them by that guy that you guys celebrate on that holiday, Columbus. Okay, so they get it. The Japanese, who were done wrong during the World War, they also were awarded reparations. I believe each of them was awarded $20,000, the ones that were detained, I think, by the U.S. government, I think. And then who also got the big Wimmy Watcher Gim Guy Bob check is those Holocaust survivors. And yes, they deserved every ounce of it. But the U.S. even helped pay up in the reparations department for their role in all of that support, lack of them being an ally of ours. There is one couple who is said that 29 Holocaust deportees have received $204,000 each. That's a lot of money. That's reported by the Washington Post in an article that they recently wrote. And so what I'm saying is this. America has been involved or has been allies to some countries that have done some wicked things. And one of those wicked things that is weaved into the fabric, is silently weaved into the fabric of this nation, is slavery. There was a lot of free work that was done, stolen from, miscredited, discredited, decredited, that happened at the hands and the creativity and the foot and the sweat and the blood and the beating of those of now African American descent. But though it has been brought up in Parliament time and time again, the conversation has been like an age-old debate about reparations. And so in this interview, which was very recently, Charlamagne is asking the upcoming Democratic running president for 2020, Bernie Sanders, how do you feel about reparations? And in that conversation, Bernie is very clear that I ain't cutting a check to y'all. And that's what you talk about. You know, he has an overall plan, and as a leader of a nation, you do have to have an overall plan. But he was very clear that no, we're not doing that. We're not moving forward by paying you for backwards. That I don't know. I guess I want to be a forward thinker too. And I don't want to be biased because I am African American. But it's just something about the strong denouncing of we're not paying you for anything is to almost say it just seems apology ridden. In essence, to me, it just sounds like you're saying to not pay somebody, to be a righteous man, a businessman at the very least, to not pay somebody for work is to say that you don't believe that they deserve that work. Because an honest man would want to pay someone for the work that they did, right? So when I hear that no reparations, I hear that. I hear very much. I heard the reports. I saw what y'all said. I understood all of that, but we ain't paying y'all. So I don't know. How y'all feel about that? That's how I feel about it. But I like that Charlamagne approached it head on. And I do like Bernie Sanders. His answers he was clear, direct. And so let's see how this shakes on down. But I think that is something to consider when we looking at them 2020 ballots. We need to be listening. Listen to what people are saying on what they believe about who you are and the values that you have. So let's get into our next music break. I'm ready. Y'all ready? Before we dive right into the track, how about we talk about the fact that Mimi, Maxie, and Nikki, better known as the group Brownstone, they literally, y'all, they rocked the 90s. They was so dope. Like, Michael Jackson signed them to his label. That's how dope they was. So, without further delay, let's get into our next music break with the Grammy-nominated 1994 hit single, If You Love Me. My joint right there. So like, listen, like Brownstone said, if you love me, say it. And like Smith said, if you love me, then you respect me. Which brings me to my next story. Let's talk about this situation, y'all. So recently on Housewives of Atlanta, people are online asking the question or not, whether Nene overreacted to what I'm about to tell you. So, Nene has all the girls over to her house for a girls' night or what have you. And so they're sitting around in what appears to be like her bedroom or somewhere near her bedroom. And so Candy pops up and she's like, oh, wow. Nene's always told me about how fabulous her closet is. I wouldn't dare. I drove all the way across town for this girls' night. I wouldn't dare be feet away from the closet and not go see it. And so she gets up and was like, I'm going to go look in the closet. And so meanwhile, you could see a little mild anxiety on Nene's face. And Nene's like, Candy, don't go in my closet. My closet is not together. And so Candy, I think she ignored all of that because she's still pumped for it, which also promoted Portia to get up and say, ooh, I want to see it too. Now, mind you, Nene is saying all this time, y'all don't go in my closet. Now, here's the issue. The backstory is these ladies have been known for being messy when it comes to each other's houses. They went in Kenya's basement during her housewarming when the when the basement wasn't completely done yet. Remember that? When the basement wasn't completely done, and then they wanted to go see how complete the house was, so they went in her basement and found out, I think it was water down there. It was like flooded down there, so then they had some tea to use against her. She was livid. So they did that once. And then, if you recall, for those of you who watched the show, when Sheree had her housewarming, they tiptoed down there. And if I'm not mistaken, the basement was the last part of her house that was not complete. And she went banoodles. Do you hear me? And so, in kind, Nene kept that same energy. And she was letting the girls was in the closet. I heard them saying, oh, look at this. And I heard Candy say, I thought this would be bigger. Now, see, I think that was the part, because then I saw the cameraman starting to walk in behind them. And at that point, Auntie Nene, Lanithia Leaks, actually that particular night, she wasn't having it. She got up and she grabbed the neck of that little cheap black shirt that cameraman had on. And when I tell you that thing shredded like Incredible Hulk, and when she ran into her closet and began to cuss and toss, and you know they do that whole, we gonna catch you next week, so they don't show you who was bucking with who. But I seen people saying, watch it, she's pregnant. I seen people saying, it was a commotion. So that brings me up to this point. Nene goes on to Andy Cohen's show and Andy Cohen asks the question about, do you think you overreacted? And I think this was funny because this is Nene's response.
I said to them several times, don't go in the closet.
Exactly. How can you be on anybody's side?
They went in the closet.
The side of the owner of the house.
Well, but did you overreact?
No, I did not. How are you going to overreact in your own home? If I tell you to visit me and sit right here, you need to sit right here. You don't have the right to go through my house and open up my doors, my closets, my pantries, none of that. You would feel disrespectful. And the one thing these girls have, they are disrespecting each other's homes when they visit them. Sheree's house was disrespected. Kenya's house was disrespected. When you come to my house, you're not going to disrespect my home.
Okay,
so they were not
period.
Right, because you can't come in someone's house. First of all, they weren't even invited upstairs. They just came upstairs on their own.
What do you want to say to the audience who 82% are saying they're on their side?
I don't give a damn whose side they're on. I don't give a damn about this poll. Okay. No, I don't give a damn about their poll. How you going to be on their side? They didn't have the right to walk in my house and do whatever they want to do. So, your poll.
See? And so I'm with her. And see, this gonna go roll. Let me roll that back. Cause we get what we allow. I'm just gonna dab here, then I'm gonna bounce on back. We get what we allow. Stop inviting people into your house that you can't trust. For one. you got to have a monitor on, got to have your camera system on inside the house because you got visitors that you can. That's crazy. But in this case, I get they're casting. They're doing a show and whatnot. They got to intermingle. But that's messy. They got a history of being messy. Then it's just, I don't think that's cool. Because when you filming a show, if you getting up running to my closet, the camera people gonna follow. Whatever you responded, like Candy talking about, I thought this would have been bigger. We got all that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think I agree with Nene. If I invite you to my house, you stay in the areas that I designated you to be in. When I'm ready to show you, never mind what I offered you to before. Never mind what I told you at my last house, or even if it was this house that you need to see my closet. Never mind any of that. It ain't today. Today ain't the day for you to see my closet. So I'm with Nene on that. How y'all feel about that? Would y'all fall out with somebody if you found out that somebody had looked in your shower? If they told you that they looked in your shower, or you found out or caught somebody looking in your shower as you was walking by the bathroom, how would you feel about that? You caught somebody looking in your medicine cabinet or whatever. How would y'all feel about that? Violated? Is it just humans being nosy? Do we just wipe that away? Or are you setting it off? Because that's what I'm feeling like. So sound in on that next week and we'll talk about that later. But come on, let's roll over into our next thing. I see my voicemail light is blinging. I'm ready to get into my next caller. Let's see who called me.
Yo, Smith, I got a question for you.
Hey, what up?
I have been in this place, in this situation, in this scenario that sometimes most of the stuff that I say ends up happening. Like if I say, oh, don't go left, there's such and such over there. People don't believe me and they go left anyways. So how do you go from being able to speak the stuff that you feel like is going to be without feeling like people won't listen? Why is it that people don't listen to the advice I give them pertaining to this specific space? Because every time it's something I say, it ends up happening. And then when it happens, they look at me like I'm crazy. But I don't understand. How can I help change that? Hit me up. Let me know.
So basically what this caller is asking, and shout out to the caller, thanks for your question. What the caller is asking is, they typically have a strong gut feeling, they're intuitive, they may have a prophetic gift, or, they are highly inclined or sensitive to, what will be's, and they typically are right. And so when they say, no, I don't think you should park your car there, and then you come back after the movie and the car's been towed, he just doesn't understand why he's not respected for his foresight. Well, here's this. This is what I'll say. I'm going to roll it back to you owning this situation. For somebody who has the premonition to be able to have either deductive wisdom, has a prophetic gift, or whatever the inclination that is the driving force behind you having the ability to have a high percentage of times to be correct of future comings, that, my friend, is a gift. And so what I heard in your voicemail instantly before I heard your question, what I heard was, why aren't you surrounding yourself around people who will celebrate your gift and not tolerate it or abuse it or only advocate for it or use it when it's convenient for them? So for me, as the gifted party, you have to be protective about those people that you trust into your private spaces and who you trust your gift with. That's like taking some bomb Cartier frames and throwing them joints onto a pig. Brokington in a couple of seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what I want to say is I would ask you and challenge you and charge you over the course of this year, beginning now, to start placing yourself in scenarios and situations and circumstances around people who will celebrate your gift and will, even if they don't agree, will aim to have an understanding of it. That way you won't have to worry about trying to rescue people who obviously sounds like what you told me ain't trying to be rescued. So good luck with that. I'm excited about your future. Hope this helped. Before going into our question of the week, so What We Not Gonna Do podcast wants to send our condolences to the family of Luke Perry. He is the teenage heartthrob actor who rose to stardom, especially early in the 90s on Beverly Hills 90210. He passed today in Burbank at St. Joseph Hospital after not recovering from a massive heart attack that he had last Wednesday. So our condolences go to the family. This week, we had the question that talked about family, actually. And the question was, if you're a guy and you're dating a girl and you guys are on your way leaving your house or your wife, let's just say it's your wife or girlfriend, it really didn't matter in this case, but you guys are leaving to go pick up the guy's mom. So y'all swerving through the city, bump, 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 playing all that stuff y'all want to play before mama get in the car, and y'all have to act like y'all been hearing R&B all day, and mama comes to the car. Who's getting in the back seat? Is girlfriend now getting out of the front seat to the back seat? Is mom tipping down the stairs to the back seat and girlfriend stay in the front seat? And so that was the question of the week, all just for fun conversation. But basically, who deserves that front seat? Does it not matter? Is it just because whoever got in the car first got the front seat first, and that just should be the accepted rule? Should the girlfriend bow down to the queen, so to speak? Should the queen yield to the princess? Is this the new queen? Like, what is that rule, that silent rule there? So, of course, I had to think about it myself because I'm asking the question. It's only fair that I let you guys know what I think about it. I would personally like it if my girlfriend, the person that I'm dating, would definitely suggest allowing my mom to be in the front seat, particularly for a couple of reasons. One is because we're picking her up. We're probably going somewhere special that's family mommy oriented. Why not give that? In the car situation, the front seat is often deemed as the preferential spot. And that's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the front seat. So why not giving that preferential spot, that throne, so to speak, to the mom? It's her day. But let's just say it wasn't a special day. Why not still do that? Also, as a spouse or somebody that's dating or what have you, I mean, it's always good to stay on good terms with the mom anyways. You know what I'm saying? So honoring them in any way you can by yielding your seat, whether that was the front seat or the back seat, the place of honor, wherever the mom can feel honored and crowned is where you place her. So what's wrong with doing that? So that's where my issue comes in. Now, here's the thing. My mama, the kind of mama, she gonna get in the car quicker than anybody can make any decision because she real joyful and real sassy and walking good and quick. So my mama gonna get in the back seat. Matter of fact, my mama might even drive. You know what I mean? So that's not an issue that I foresee. But I would like to know that you love me enough to know that this is a way of crowning my mom. You know what I'm saying? At least open the conversation up for her to say, oh, no, baby, I'm straight. Go ahead. You ain't got to get out. Because that's exactly what mine would say. But I don't know. I wanted to hear more. I got some calls, but I want to hear a little more about how y'all feel about who's getting in the back seat. All right? Let me know. So we had a listener write in and ask a question. They wanted to know, is dating a friend's ex still wrong if it was 5 years ago when they broke up and the friend has moved across the country and moved on with their life? So basically, Is it wrong if me and Mike was cool and Mike was dating Keisha? They broke up. Mike moves from LA to New York. We may not be as cool as like that anymore. Is it wrong if 5 years later, after they break up, I see Keisha at Everyday People Party in LA and I try to holler? Like, is that wrong still? So that's the question that's being asked. And that question is especially in a city like Los Angeles. Because Los Angeles is a very loveless city. Like, it's not a place where, like, relationships are rampant. People enjoy good fellowships and good experiences with people, and then they move on. And so, do I think, what are the rules? Because this place is, there's a lot of shared content in Los Angeles, and it's like at some point there's gonna be some merging and meshing among friends, so we know that that's gonna happen, right? We do. Okay, so let's just say that, being adults, me personally, I don't personally want to share somebody with somebody that one of my homeboys had. Like, I personally don't, because it can get so messy, and oh man, it just can get messy, and it's just not my personal preference. But being an adult about the situation, you guys, let's be real. How long are we gonna hold people to the prisons of their dating past? I mean, some of these people you dated your first year, your first semester in Los Angeles, it's like, it was horrible, it didn't work out, and who cared? You moved on. But because they met somebody else through you, that now they're never eligible to date, that sounds silly. Now, of course, I know these examples, and the example that this person was writing in about, it sounded though it was like a full-fledged budding relationship that was really going to where it broke up, and they were wondering, is that too sensitive to move forward with? But what I'm saying is, a rule is a rule and a principle is a principle. So how do you guys handle that? Are you dating your friends' exes? Are you hanging out with your friends' exes? Once they're exes, are they off the text list? Are you not hanging with them anymore? Are you only hanging if they get back cool with what do y'all do with that? And so let's open the polls up for that. Y'all can hit me up on that on my Instagram at So What We Not Gonna Do podcast. Let's chit chat about that and see what y'all think. I got my mind on what y'all gonna say, but I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna be patient, and I'm gonna see what y'all think about that. Before we run into our next hot topic, y'all, the internet is so just ridiculous. It's undefeatable. So if y'all remember this iconic long run that Kiki Wyatt did, that everybody, it kind of went viral like last year, and then listen to this girl trying to echo it. She sounds a fool. We'll make a fool out of ourselves, won't we? Listen up, y'all. Sing, Kiki. Now listen, old girl, y'all. A fool. I hate people, y'all. Why we do stuff like that to ourselves? Come on, y'all. Let's get into our next celebrity hot topic. You ready? Come on. Y'all, get into this story with me real quick. This story is so interesting. It was posted by the Baltimore Sun. The guy speaking here is Michael Harrison, Baltimore Police Acting Commissioner.
Smart that his wife Jacqueline had been stabbed to death after giving money to a panhandler in the 1000 block of Valley Street in East Baltimore. We now know that that was not true.
So what happened was, this man by the name of Keith Smith, he's 52 years old, and his daughter, Valeria Smith, who was 28 years old. On December 1st of last year, at about 12:30 in the morning, they called the police and said that his wife, whose name is Jacqueline Smith, she was 54 years old. She was an electrical engineer at the Aberdeen Proving Ground. He said that she had just been stabbed by a panhandler who had come over to the car and had reached in the car, snatched her up, and had stabbed her up. And he was reporting this crime. And so the police started investigating it, of course. And the family never believed that that was actually the true story. And so when they did their investigation, they found out that Keith and his daughter Valeria actually was the ones that's done stabbed up the wife. They done stabbed her up, left her for dead, done called the police or what have you, talking about she got stabbed by a panhandler. So a few days later, they ended up going on doing a press conference. They had this big tearful press conference, and they were telling about, what happened, and if you know have any tips, call this number and that number. It caused the city to be on aware. It caused the city to be on alert, even to the fact that Oprah even made mention about reconsidering using how we use wisdom when we give money to panhandlers, sparked allegedly by this particular case. So once the police start doing their investigation and they find out that that this story ain't adding up, they start notifying national police hotlines and border patrols and whatnot that they now have a suspect in this Toyota Camry. So why they got found trying to tiptoe out the country, they was just at the tip in Texas, Combrace, Texas, at a grocery store just north of Harlingen, Texas, getting ready to dip right on over into Mexico and be gone with the wind fabulous. No, they got booked boots right there. And so now they are going to be facing charges already signed by the judge for first-degree murder. What was y'all that mad about? Y'all could have just packed up your little rented Camry and could have just bust up and jumped up to Mexico. What was that about? Was the macaroni, was the potato salad that bad? I mean, dang. So I'm going to be following that case. And if I see more on that case, I will make sure to let y'all know. But ain't that crazy though, y'all? Folks is crazy. Oh my God. It was undeniable in 1990 when you heard that do-rap. When you heard that come on, you knew it was time to hit the dance floor. Our next music break is coming courtesy of Digital Underground's 1990 hit Humpty Dance. Let's go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. My podcast, I'm loving it. We'll be back after this commercial break. So if you're like me and you worked hard all week, I know what it's like when the weekend comes, you ready to get out and shake a tail feather, shake a ear feather, shake something on the weekends. And of course, you know I got you covered for things to do. So I found out that Day Party LA is returning on this weekend for another sold out event. They're claiming, I guess they're known for selling out their events. It's going to be March the 9th, 2019 from 1 o'clock till 7 o'clock p.m. Again, it's a day party. Now the music is curated by he's a really dope DJ. He's one of my favorites here. DJ WizKid and Friends. It's located at apartment 503. Now, no, it's not at an actual apartment. That is the name of the rooftop venue where this particular event is going to be held. And so it costs $10. And if you want to get in extra quick and speedy and do the speed pass, it's $15. And you got to go get that ticket over on Eventbrite. Now, the second event that I came across was pretty cool for those who want a different option in the theatrics. Waco Theater Center, which is located in North Hollywood at 5144 Lankershim Boulevard. It's owned by Mrs. Tina Knowles and Mr. Lawson, who she's the mother of Beyonce and he is the stepfather of Beyonce, and they own a theater called Waco Theater. Now they are putting on this play called No Place to Be Somebody. It was written by American playwright Charles Gordon. He wrote it in 1969, and in 1970, y'all, he won a Pulitzer Prize for it. And he became the first in two categories. He was the first African-American playwright to receive a Pulitzer, and No Place to Be Somebody was the first off-Broadway play to receive the award. So that is being reinterpreted over at Waco, and the tickets are $40 for that. That may be really good. And again, that is offered over on Eventbrite too. Now, if you're like me, I'm sure you're going to be tipping off to some sort of brunch on Sunday. You know, there's tons of places to try, from Toast to Blue Jam Cafe, and there's an array of others. Tons of things to do, but do something with your weekend. And of course, take some balance and rest a little bit too, but turn up a little bit. You deserve it, because Monday is coming quicker than you know it. You better believe it. So, in the wake of celebrity news, Kim Kardashian recently posted a video. It's like a whole choir, like they're like kind of glowing in the dark. You see like silhouettes, and they're singing a soul to soul song from the early 90s called Back to Life. And she's named it Sunday Service. Now, Kanye and Kim caused a viral storm when word got out that they were starting a church. Now, that's not exactly what they were doing, but the internet did grossly detest the fact that a rapper that many deemed as being scatterbrained and a reality star, or an ex whatever you wanted to place her on her that day, leading a quote-unquote congregation, just should never happen and should be impossible, and it was disgusting and it was deplorable, and Black Twitter ate it up, and the mass media wrote about it, wondering what the heck had Kanye stirred up this time. Well, here's what we know. So what I know is that Kanye has gathered about 60 of LA's finest singers. I'm talking about those that sing background for artists like Nicki Minaj, those that, you know, work on shows like The Voice and sing, you know, background vocals for American Idol. These great singers who are working industry artists in LA. He's gathered them all. He has an awesome music director who has gathered the singers of the city, and these singers have been given white clothing that they wear. They're currently in week number 8 where they've been doing these quote-unquote services, and they don't even really treat them as services. It sounds to me, I don't have it confirmed, that they choose different locations because the videos that I've seen, they look different in the background. Some have been outside, some have been indoors, but it looks like they choose different locations, and for an hour they start this like session. It's like a jam session where they perform songs like SWV's Week or Outstanding or This Is the Day or You Brought the Sunshine. by the Clark sisters. They perform songs that have that duality to them, that they could be talking about God, that they could be talking about or a spouse or a love interest. They sing songs like that. And there is no preaching. Kanye's not there preaching. Everybody is vibing out. They have a massive, I'm told they have a massive band that is there every week. All the singers, they have dancers for 1 hour straight. It is a huge live performance. And I'm told that that people are being changed by these experiences. And it's, of course, celebrity filled, but it's on the low. So it's only by invite, but there are people who are not celebrities that go too. So you're sitting there. Now afterwards, after that hour, there's a brunch that's sponsored by Kanye, maybe the Donda company. They do this brunch, and you may find yourself sitting next to Khloe Kardashian. There's no VIPs, there's no family sections. You just, everybody out in the yard chowing down. And so I think the movement is so dope. I was talking to somebody recently about how when I was growing up, growing up in church, and knowing that God had called me to leadership, knowing God had called me to teach, and I knew what I was supposed to do. I knew what my gifts were, but I also knew that God had called me to entertainment. And I didn't really have anybody to really guide and navigate me on how to be both of those sides of myself. You get what I'm saying? And so what God started showing me, especially after I moved to LA, was that if I allow myself to be available, that He will use me in different ways, in different arenas. I've been a blessing to people while standing next to them doing a two-step in the club. And I know that it was a God moment. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people scoff at ideas like Kanye West trying to take, how dare you be a pastor? How dare you lead anything? Who are you to be a spokesperson for God? The naysayers may say something like that. I can see that. I can hear that. We saw it already. It was all over Twitter. But the reality of the fact is, God uses people in very unconventional ways sometimes, quite often, especially in this day and age where the millennials ain't going to church, y'all. Y'all can keep ignoring it if you want to, but the millennials are chucking up the deuces to church. And to be quite honest with you, they're asking more questions now where they're even, they giving credit to universes and whatnot these days. We're living in a different time where different things have to be done to get the attention of those that we're trying to help. So what I say to that, I think kudos to Kanye. I think it's such a dope idea. And from what I'm hearing, word on the street, which is actually word on the back street, which really by the back street, I mean in the alleyway, I'm hearing that he wants to take this thing on tour. So there's some spellings of that. And even as we speak, he and some of them are actually on a plane right now, a private jet, heading to a place that I do not know. But I think it's dope. I think we should continue to keep ourselves open to being used in whatever way we see fit as far as a service and yielding our gift and our service to the world. That's what I think. I think the more boxed in that you put on yourself, the more boxed in living that you accept, the more boxed in stereotypes, the more boxed in labels, you shrink who you can be, who you were designed to be to the world. And when you really look over that, when you look back and you sitting up here, a good old blessed 60 years old, but realize you had so much more to offer that you didn't because you found yourself boxed in, you gonna hate that. You already know you is, so why not do something about it now? So, hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's episode of So What We Not Gonna Do, the original 90s voicemail podcast by your boy Smith. It's been so good. We talked about a lot of things. We done talked about people, misusing the church, doing false resurrections, to all kinds of other celebrity news. And we got into some things things today, y'all. We did. We opened up a few things. I'm appreciating y'all. Thank y'all for still staying in tune. And the numbers are going up and up and up. And we're soon, guys, we're going to be offering ad spots. Things are happening. And I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in and staying tuned to the kid and checking in on your boy. And guess what? Guess where you're going to find me at? This same time, at this same place next week, we're going to be right on for episode 5. And if you thought this episode was bomb, you gon' flip when they see the new you.